New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello again, dear ones. Rev Robert with you here today, and it's Tuesday. It's 2 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone. That means it's time for New Thought Today. However, I'm not on the Mountain Time Zone today. I'm on the Central Time Zone here at Unity Village, the home of the Unity Movement, and we're here for the ANTN, Affiliated New Thought Network's annual conference. You might remember we were here last year, and we're back, and we've got one of my favorite special guests because Rev Michelle has been with the network and still helping with the network in the background and still a great supporter and a contributor to the network, and we love you and honor you for that.
Thank you.
So I'm so grateful you're with us today.
I'm happy to be here.
Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and then tell us what kind of friend you brought with you.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hi, Rev Jersey Girl here. You remember me from a year of broadcasting, and I didn't come to you, but I was with Reverend Robert a little while ago when we were in July. We were in Chicago together, which was very exciting. And so, I come to you today, and Reverend Robert asked me to be on the show, but as of a few hours ago, fell in love. And that happens. That happens at these conferences.
Just so you know, Neil. Giving you a heads up, Neil.
And I have a new friend, and you know something's right when there's a spark in your eye when you talk to somebody and conversation just kind of pours out of your mouth and your hearts kind of pour out to each other. So I want to introduce my friend Mitch Austin here, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself, and then we'll come back around and I'll tell you why I think it was important to have him here and not just be a show with Reverend Robert and I. Tell them about you.
Well, thank you, Reverend Michelle, and you're right. I kept getting the match game vibration every time I went up to you. So I'm so grateful to be here, the new kid on the block today. I am a religious science practitioner for over 12 years now. And I'm also a Emerson ministerial student. I've been speaking for about 15 years. I love speaking and teaching. It's my passion. I have some specialty programs that people enjoy. The one people love the most is Taming Your Inner Critic. There are 7 types of inner critic. I know one's bad enough, but there are actually 7. And then the other program I'm getting out into the world is called Rise and Speak. And I help people take their mess and make it their message and shine their light medicine.
I like that. Take your message
into
make it
the
your
world.
Message.
Yeah, really passionate about that. So grateful to be here with both of you today.
Yeah, good. Lovely.
Absolutely. We're grateful you're here as well.
Yeah.
And again, folks, grateful that you're here with us online. If you want to comment, chat along, please do so. We've got our great producer, Diego, in the background. He's supporting everything.
Love you, Diego.
Love you, Diego. And if it's an appropriate comment, he'll flash it up on the screen for us. I can definitely in the forefront say, hoo-ha, Space Cowboy, glad you're with us. I know you're in there somewhere watching along, one of our best all-time viewers. So, okay, so we're back here. Now, last year we were here and you had different people in the hot seat. I had different people in the hot seat. And what we know is so much has happened in this year. I want to start with you, Reverend Michelle. What's been the highlight of your New Thought life, if you will, in the spiritual world and what you've either seen or been able to accomplish? What's been the highlight of the past year?
Well, it's not all pretty.
Okay.
It's not all pretty because there's a new And then literally this is kind of hot off the presses kind of stuff that's happening for me. And I'm here as the elder in this group, which is kind of the reason it's the perfect thing, because when Reverend Robert said the point of this particular show is the forward motion of new thought, for me to be here, and then Reverend Robert and have Mitch come in.
Rev to be.
Rev to be. Right, Rev to be. So what you have is kind of a 3-generational thing going on and an intergenerational conversation. But where I am in my life is I'm at that point when I wasn't recognizing what was happening for me. And there is a thing that happens during the aging process where if you don't recognize how it is part of the line of continuum of from birth to leaving, and we could just call it wrong. And so I've been embracing this. Well, no, that's not true. That would make me sound very smart. Because that's not what was happening. I was not bracing it. I've been bitching and moaning inside of myself and not happy. And now very recently, I am educating myself in the process, and I am looking at what is this like, because I'm not alone. And there is what we call, the term is silver tsunami. There's a silver tsunami coming. The what do you call this age group? Baby boomers, where there's going to be more. The statistics, I believe, says there's going to be more elders than there are of the 20-something. Somehow the numbers are such.
Oh wow! Okay.
It's enormous. So from the needs of caring for yourself, if you're an elder, the needs of caring for your aging parents, and what that looks like, and embracing what it really is, because I don't think I was doing my community a service. I have an aging community, and I don't think I was speaking to the issue properly, because I wasn't allowing them to or in my conversations, I wasn't making room for them just saying, yeah, I'm kind of tired. It's because in my mind, being tired was not okay.
Right.
In my mind, being old wasn't okay. In my mind, none of it was okay. So how can I have a healthy conversation with the individuals in my community? So It hasn't been lovely until now, because now I see a new possibility coming. And I know that whether or not I'm a minister or just a grandmother, my value is being conscious in the process.
Yes.
Consciously aging, consciously saging, because I do have my sons and I have my grandchildren. So my being okay with who I am has them have a different relationship with the process. And that's why me being here isn't nearly as important as the next generation of ministers. That's why when we talked this morning that happened, I'm like, oh yeah, no. We got to keep it. And the elders have to invite in that next generation, come in, be seen, come in and be seen.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's an important thing, and it's not a bad thing. Standing on the sidelines isn't a bad thing. It is just a different position, a place of influence. So that's really what's been happening, while I'm also doing all my forgiveness training, and my book is coming out. It was supposed to be here. I'm disappointed that it's not. But soon, my work, which I've been doing for years now, is going to be in a book. It is called Forgiveness, A Path of Promise, A Way of Life. And so be on the lookout for that from me, if you will.
We will absolutely make sure you know about it here on the New Thought Media Network, folks. I promise. That book comes out and you don't know about it or have a link to go purchase it, you come kick me around a little bit. We're not going to let that happen. We'll make sure your book gets some of the attention it deserves.
And that really is my love and my passion for my ministry right now, because the world, it is clear the world is upset and angry, and they don't know how to handle their upset, and they don't know how to handle their anger, and they don't know how to handle the shadows we were discussing this morning. And so in not knowing how to do all that,
Right.
it displays its emotions in the most unkind ways. And so for me, whether I'm 65 or 95, everything I will do to support individuals and being conscious, not kind out of a forced way, but accepting and proactive in how we engage others. So yeah, that's kind of my gig, my jam, as they say now. Is that what they say now? Is that my jam, or is that old now? That might be old.
It's probably old, but somebody in the chat box, let us know what the hippest newest phrase is if you know. But I think you bring up a great point, because there is the need for the continuity of leadership, of how this ministry, how this philosophy gets expressed. And we were kind of talking about this morning in the morning session that specifically what New Thought Media Network does is looking to push those boundaries a little bit and reimagine how we get out there. So, Mitch, you're not yet you don't have the Rev yet. You'll get the Rev, then you'll get the Doctor, then you get the Doctor Rev, all that sort of stuff. But
sort of, yeah.
Where do you sort of see this philosophy headed?
I love that you have brought this question up, because right now I'm a student, and I'm also helping run a spiritual center. I'm part of a ministerial council. I'm a part-time center director. So I'm trying to step into learning while I'm also trying to learn how to move the goalposts, right? Because we've been here and we know we need to get over here. And a big part of that is bridging the generations, right? And what we're seeing with, our what we would call our young adults and middle-aged adults, that they're already stepping into a higher level of this understanding. Already in our conversations, we use words like manifesting or attracting. It's just in the lexicon or the verbiage. So we have all these young people kind of already to embrace these concepts, but we also have our senior members who don't necessarily speak the same language as young people. As you were saying, is it jam yet? What is it? Right? So how do we all get on the same page? Because we really are talking about the same thing. But how do we connect and really feel that sense of connection and inclusion with all the generations? And I think that's a big challenge to the unfolding.
I want to add on to what you're saying too. I learned a very long time ago from my middle son, especially when all three children went to this special school for a short time. It was an alternative school. And one of the things we focused on a lot, and I have tried to continue, were intergenerational conversations. Now, when I was a little girl, you sat at the little kids' table.
Right. Yep.
And I have absolutely prevented that. My grandchildren sit with us. And that, as a matter of fact, I have, when I can, and I have gatherings in my home, and I have members come, even the ones with the children. I don't want them leaving their children home. I want them intermingling with me specifically, because I know they have an idea that I'm the minister, but I want them to have a relationship, a playful relationship with me, so that when I grab them and kiss them on their head, they just feel this acceptance in a very natural way, in an intergenerational way, and not, again, you guys sit over there, the elders will sit here. The old to be seen but not heard. Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
Let's keep intergenerational conversations happening.
Well, and I love that you bring that up, because the hierarchical approach to spiritual community is falling apart. We're seeing
rapidly.
A lot of that.
Yes.
And at our center, we actually use a ministerial council. We don't have a senior minister. Now, that has other issues and problems too, but what it does is it makes people feel more included in the conversation, that there's not so much of an authority telling you what to do, as much as we are collectively on a journey. And I know that that's been really attractive to the generations that are coming up, and the way the world is moving. The world used to move measure twice and cut once. Now it's fly the airplane while we're building it. How do we do that? How do
Just
we
cut the thing. We'll change the measurements
and that
later.
makes me nervous. I'm used to measure twice. Okay, well, we'll just try that. See how it works out.
And I want to bring in an element to this conversation, which is not to change it, but to add into it. And you started the conversation this morning in your presentation. Any minister who sees this, any practitioner who sees this, anyone from any CSL, Unity, Divine Science, any place that you serve, I think it's time that we get crazy in our demand of you said it, dropping the silos, and finally having our leadership demand that our leaderships talk to each other so that we can all just come under the banner of New Thought and nothing else. New Thought. That will all be cousins, but cousins that know each other. Because I have tried over the years to keep my people aware of the other organizations, but I know not everybody does that.
Right.
Let us share across the board. And I say that because if we're going to keep talking about where's New Thought going, not only in the personal relationship part of it, but in the bigger picture, we must demand that our leaders sit down with each other and break down the walls.
Yes.
The world, I always get a little emotional when I say this, the world needs us. The world needs us. It needs us to be the best version of ourselves that we are.
Yep.
And I understand, because I understand that we get a little confused with pronouns, and it's very confusing to everybody with the whole, he, she, they thing. I'm confused by it at times, but so what? Embrace it, and let's be interested and be in a state of wonderment instead of rejecting it, right? Because the world needs us to be united.
Well, I think it's okay, and I think it's healthy to be in a place of confusion at times. If you're confused, right, it's okay to be confused. What I don't agree with is the wholesale, no, that's not the way we do it.
Right. Well, as you were saying, you're afraid of, the whole jump, leap, and then you'll figure it out. Well, sometimes we judge without figuring it out. Let us be in a state of wonderment. Gee, I wonder why he decided to become transgender. Oh, I wonder why she's marrying a woman. And because then there's that space in us where we're not creating separation and resistance.
True. Yes.
Well, and that door swings both ways. So I am a transgender man, so I can certainly enter the conversation from this point of view. But, we're really talking about tolerance, giving the tolerance that we want to receive to others, right? Because that creates more tolerance in the room. And not everyone has the capacity or skill set to embrace a truth that may be so different from somebody's experience or understanding. If we looked at consciousness, our own individual consciousness, like a house, it can only carry so much, right? Depending on how it's built.
Yep.
And so you launch, something new about yourself onto someone, they may or may not be able to hold that in the house of their consciousness. And then how can we be compassionate around that? Even if people are unelegant or react out of fear, or because if we're reacting back with judgment, we're bringing more judgment into the world, and that's the real poison. That's really what's.
And that's my talk for tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, is it? Yes.
There's that one mind thinking about it all together, all at once, which makes me think you can still catch Reverend Dr. Michelle's talk tomorrow, because online opportunities and registrations for this conference are still available. You get the one-day registration at the website ntn.org. All right, wasn't planning that plug, but there it was. So
thank you
the
very
right
much.
mind said it. I love how this happens.
Okay, ahead. I know you want to stop for commercial.
Well, I was going to say, I'm looking at the clock on the wall there, folks, as well, which means we should give our sponsors just a moment to say hello, give our guests just a moment to catch their breath, and take a sip of water. You're watching New Thought Today on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Rev Robert. Diego, our producer, is going to take it from here. We'll be back in just a minute. Stay with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.
It's become you too.
And we're back with more of New Thought Today on the New Thought Media Network. This is our regularly scheduled Tuesday programming, and I am here live today in Unity Village with the affiliated New Thought Network's annual conference. If you hear people walking by in the studio or doors shutting, that's because, well, we're in the lobby of the hotel having a good time, because this is where all the hip kids are. Lots of great thinkers and lots of great conversations happening here this week. My special guest, Reverend Dr. Michelle Wadleigh, and newfound friend Mitch Austin, having a great conversation. While we were on the break, you two kind of were like, I want to hear what that
yeah, it's kind of interesting. And I tend to be a very literal person, and in my mind, in my world, and as a diehard metaphysical religious scientist, language and the way words hit me are something that I focus on quite a bit. And so before, when Mitch was saying about tolerating things, I was just sharing with him how I struggle with that word, not with the concept, but with the word. So we were discussing. And so tell them what you said about embracing.
Well, I think it's okay to feel uncomfortable about something as we're leaning into our learning curve. And that's the kind of tolerance that I'm talking about. Not the judgy surface tolerance where we tolerate someone and we're judging them. And we're
you be you. You do
right,
you.
Right,
Do you.
yeah,
Right,
okay, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That kind of shallow acceptance.
Right.
But
That's what I'm you see, because I think there's a listening for people that are in this teaching, and then there's a listening for that next outer ring, that next outer circle. Mm-hmm. So I think we have to be careful using language that even that next circle can get the message. Otherwise, they're always going to stay in that next circle.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because I completely agree with your point of view about it. It's just always that word, and I we talked about it earlier, and maybe some of you struggle with the term, with the the whole question about pronouns. I don't question it as acceptable. I'm in complete agreement. I just don't always have the understanding, most specifically about they. That's the one that kind of goes, I go, wait a minute, it's only one person. Why are they a they? And I won't fight. I'm not fighting against it. But and I think it's important. What I love, I think you're saying, is that if you choose, what pronoun do you choose?
He and him.
He and him, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's say you wanted they.
Mhm.
Like, so it's important for me to just say yes to that, even while I'm questioning it. You know, that's the kind of, you know, use your language, tolerance. I want to accept it, even though I might not understand it.
Well, yeah, just as if, Michelle, you told me your name was John, right? There's an incongruence here. I don't see a male John,
Right.
but that's your name. So I'm
Right,
going to honor that that's how you identify, even though for me and my personal history of knowing the name John, kind of identifying with the male face.
Right,
form,
Mhm.
That's just been my conditioning and programming I'm having to overcome.
Yeah.
You could call yourself John, George, Jacob, you know, whatever.
So I feel like a song is coming.
John, George, Jacob. But you know, kind of when you put it in that context too, it kind of helps people see that. Yeah, you know, sometimes.
Yeah, and I, again, it's we in this movement, in this New Thought movement, I believe that we are being called to act from our beingness and model the behavior, because take my sons love me, but if they were listening to us, they'd think we were all a bunch of wackadoos. They would.
Yeah.
Not my eldest son so much. I mean, they're all tolerant. And I say one of my greatest accomplishments was raising 3 non-homophobic, non-racist white boys. Like, if I did only that, I'm like, hallelujah, right? And they're accepting, but they still, you know, in my language, in my community, they'll make fun of me. Like, yeah, Ma, all those people wearing butterflies or purple, you know, they make fun of me, which is kind of hysterical, because what they don't realize is how much they actually benefit from me being me.
Right.
My beingness and in the way that I am, they benefit from, even though they don't know it. You and I, or you know, us having a relationship creates a vibration, and it extends it into a community, extends a vibration into community that they benefit from, even though they don't know it.
Right. Even if they deny it's real.
Yeah.
Even if they deny that consciousness that's being created, that's being shared, is real or effective, it is still effective.
Yeah, I mean, the world is actually, we're being photographed here. I think it's adorable.
Get my good side.
It's fun, folks, because we're here amongst other
Friends,
attendees,
family.
and it's
with
delightful. But the world is actually benefiting from this conversation more than they will realize.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and how we show up in the world.
And okay, so now you're hitting in my zone, because that's the intent behind this network, is to flood the vibrational consciousness of this planet with positive music, media, and entertainment messaging, opportunities to have these deeper conversations. And today at lunch, we got into a conversation about, you know, how do you really reach the TikTok generation? If you've only got 6 seconds, how do you go deep in 6 seconds?
You don't.
And you don't. But you create a vibration that communicates it's going to be safe to go deep here.
Yes.
When you're ready to go, because I think every one of us gets called in our own ways to explore these ideas, to explore who we really are. It's not the greatest question, who am I, right?
Right.
That if I can convey a sense that it's safe to ask those questions in this community, that's all I got to do in 6 seconds. Because if you watch one, then maybe I get 12 the next time.
Right.
And that 12 seconds becomes a minute and a half, and that minute and a half becomes prayer time for 15 minutes, becomes a program like this where we can actually plumb the depths of some of these conversations.
Well, and I think the important thing is and again, now I'm speaking intergenerationally, right? Because all the generations are currently existing, and I implore those of you who think you don't know or think you don't understand, who think you don't understand technology, it's for us to not reject the TikTok.
Right.
It's important for us not to reject it.
Incorporate.
And incorporate it,
Comes
or at
back to
least
that
be
sense
interested.
of wonder you were talking about.
Wonderment.
That sense
Yeah.
of wonderment. Oh, wow, I wonder what we could accomplish
Yeah.
with someone on our team that Okay, I wonder what we can accomplish with someone on our team that understands that platform and is willing to teach an older guy how to use it.
Oh, is that dropping a hint?
So if that's you, folks, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe, and send us an email. I'm sure Diego will put one across the screen here for us in a minute or so.
So my name is Mitch. I'm a TikTok addict, and
Hi, Mitch.
Are you a TikTok star or are you?
Not yet. No, not yet. But here's what I will say.
I'm an addict too.
I've discovered that more isn't better. Better is better. And I think that's what TikTok is trying to harness. That if you can take one idea, one concept, and really get it, deliver it in that concise and effective way that hits the target of the consciousness and it goes in deep, that has real value. And I really think that that's the goal that you can get out of TikTok, and why people will go, oh, I really get what he just said about thoughts. Who is this guy? And then they start to buy in because they got that one piece that really made a difference for them. And so I think that's some of the gold, at least for me, for TikTok.
So I just heard you say you can go deep.
But with one thing,
exactly.
not three things, not six things, but one thing.
And we've always been taught have your 3 points and have 3 stories that illustrate each of your 3
The
points.
structure.
And that's your half-hour
Exactly.
sermon, right?
Exactly. And out of that half-hour sermon, and people probably walk away with one thing.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just kind of in reverse almost with the TikTok community. So.
Okay, now I'm learning stuff. See, this is instant demonstration. You ask, and the expert arises. Somebody that knows more than me shows up and
I
starts.
put in my
schooling.
time. I've watched in my share of TikToks. For sure. So, yeah.
Glad you're with us.
And I'm just still I'm taking it in, and I can feel this. I can feel this pull now because technology must be embraced because it's here, and yet I would like us not to lose the personal touch. I want both. I want both ends.
Yes.
I don't want to live in the either or world.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm with you.
Well, we're losing the art of welcome, is what I've noticed, because we're moving so quickly in connections that this art of welcome and being present and really seeing people and taking them in a gradual way is disappearing. I mean, I really don't see it.
Now, do you think that what you're saying is a result of the past 2 years that we've all lived through, or 2.5 years of COVID? Do you think that it's a result of that?
Well, part of it is technology based too, right? We're all thinking in shorter time frames. Our attention is shrinking. So if you're wanting to get to the good stuff quickly, you may not take the time to stop and be present.
That was another conversation we had at lunch today. Was somebody said that one of their younger congregants, one of their younger people said, "I don't read emails," and I thought, "I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. I read the headline, and if it's something,
Really?
and if the headline, and if it's something that's important, and if it's something that's important that I need to do or deliver or a conversation that I'm involved with, absolutely. But marketing emails, I get plenty of them every day.
Don't
We send them, but I don't read them. I might scan them. I might file them to look at it another time, or it might be a task that gets put on a task list. But rarely do I truly actually read everything.
Well, that explains a lot.
It does, especially the longer it goes.
Yes.
I got to go past 2 or 3 scrolls, and you're losing me here. However, I think part of what that has also done is, for me, it's created a resurgence in having vocal conversations again.
Yes.
Phone, Zoom. I actually pick up the phone more now than I have for the last 10 years. And I worked the phones for a long time, and I'm not the kind of guy that I really like to get on the phone and make 12 calls in a day.
Right.
But now I know you're not reading your email either. So I know the best way to get you is text or email, or just pick up the phone, because if you see my name, you're most likely to pick up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
And that tells me enough too.
Well, it's funny, even my ex-husband, who is 14 years older than me, we're all very good friends, right? And instead of just calling me up and asking me something, he'll text me before he calls me, and I'm like, why are you texting me? Pick up that damn phone! Like, if we have to have relationships.
Yes.
And I will tell my coaching clients, and they'll say, well, how do I know if you're available? Call me. It's fascinating to me how much we don't just reach out. I will call. I'm a caller.
Yes.
I will call you before I do anything else, unless I have never met you before. You're probably, and if you don't pick up, you don't pick up. I'll try again. That's the other thing.
If you do
I'm
call
old
and
enough.
I don't pick up, please leave a message.
Well, here's the thing. I'm old enough. I remember no answering machines, and so you let the damn phone ring, or you call back. You call if you don't get me, or people that I left a message, you didn't call me back. Maybe I missed it. Call me back again.
Yeah.
And so a few months back, a number of months back, I had a number of my practitioners come together with me. I had gotten a collection of thank you cards that were just sitting. There was so many of them. And we printed out a member list, and not just members, actually. We did members and others. And we just sat down and made out cards, thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's a rarity.
Don't want anything.
Yeah.
We were just thinking about you.
Right.
And they were shocked and surprised and grateful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the art, and I remember, and some of you are going to remember this if you're listening. It was Tom Costa. Tom Costa swore. Do you know Tom Costa?
Yeah.
He swore that his ministry was successful because every day, the first thing he did in his day is he sent out thank you cards. I think he said like 10 to 20 thank you cards every day to people in his community. And he swore that, and he's gone now for quite a while, he swore that that's what built his community. I still buy into that idea.
Well, it's actually making a resurgence, because I follow marketing quite a bit, that mail marketing, particularly for spiritual communities, is actually now becoming a more effective thing than the email, than the text, than even some of the social media ads, that a real piece of paper with, an actual picture of people, and, is become now a treasure, like more effective than it used to be.
That makes sense.
And I'm the anti-call person.
Oh, I won't call you
on the phone. I'll answer your call. But it takes.
Let me ask you about that.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why. So for me, it takes a lot of psychic energy to have a conversation versus make a few clicks and have an appointment with you. It takes more like mental real estate for me to do that over the phone.
You've got to think.
I've really got to be present. I've got to stop everything. I've got to engage more of myself into this communication. And because we're just communicating about making an appointment, can't I just do it on an app or send it to you or email?
Oh, so you're talking about for making the initial
like these smaller, like if it's a deeper conversation. Like I've had people start.
God, I thought you meant just to talk.
Yeah.
No. Because you had brought up, why don't you just call me for the appointment? I'm like, well, that's going to take a lot of psychic energy, but okay, here I am.
No. I don't make appointments anymore.
Yeah.
I use a link. I have a software piece.
I have it too.
Give you the link, and you tell me what fits in my schedule for you.
Right.
It took a while to get it all set up, but it's so much, because those types of communications, you spend so much time going back and forth. No, not Tuesday. How about Wednesday? Well, Wednesday, and an email that could take an hour and a half. Versus, here's my link. Go find what is open on my schedule that fits with your schedule, and you're welcome to book as much time with me as you want. But I think people are hungry actually for some of the old school stuff.
Yes.
Like a handwritten card.
Yes.
Like a phone call from their minister. And not a, hey, how much you given this month?
Right.
By the way, Tithes are due. No, I'm joking. But having that conversation that says, I just want to say hi. I want you to know I care.
Right.
Well,
I want you to know I'm still
Right.
here.
I have the phone number of almost every member of my community in my phone. So if I'm out and about and driving and I'm at a light or something, I take the phone and I scroll, and whose ever number come up, and I'll call. And if they don't answer, I leave a message.
Right.
Don't need anything. Just checking in.
Right.
Just checking in.
It's a great way to do it.
But we've also recently, I had a number of people who have had either COVID or surgery or this and that. And the value of that, I know they valued me calling them or dropping off food or soup or a card or flowers, which I've done.
Right.
And it's interesting how satisfying it was to minister in that way.
Yes. And we can all do that. We can all make
Yeah.
a call or a
Yeah.
text or drop off flowers. I mean, we can all impact people. You don't have to be a minister to do that.
Right. No, not at all. And
Right.
and I think if we're talking about where is New Thought going in the future, wherever it goes, we have to take ourselves there. And in relationship,
Yes.
in relationship, at least that's my humble opinion. I want to be around you.
Mhm.
And I think that those relationships, especially if they're just seen by others, if it's witnessed, you've seen the commercials, you've seen the Facebook thing where you watch somebody save a dog or save a child and woo, and I'm crying, right?
Mhm.
And we all benefit
Yep.
just from the witnessing. And I think that's critically important. Ministry and New Thought going forward, we have to, I'm going to speak like I'm the authority here, but I believe we have to do it together. Like you know what a scrum is?
Yeah, where you're all
Rugby?
huddled
Yeah.
Rugby scrum.
Well,
Like a rugby scrum. I think we have to do
Well-
that and barrel forward
Yeah.
in love.
Well, and in the scrum, not everybody smells great,
Right,
so
that's right.
you
That's
know,
right.
there's a level of authenticity, right? that,
That's right.
And you don't care that you don't smell that great.
There's gonna be some annoyances, right? Because
Right,
everyone
that's
has
right.
different personalities. Some people are chronologically challenged and can't get to places on time, or however people are showing up. But if we can invite people to show up authentically, then we can really be with them.
In one of our new taglines that we've been trying out this summer, "Come be you."
I love that.
I love
It
that. I
is-
saw that.
is all about that point.
Right.
That if I'm not being myself, if I'm not being everything I think I'm here to be, everything that feels natural and normal, if I'm not being as radically authentic as possible, I'm not effective. And so why even bother showing up if I can't be effective? I'm not going to be who I am. And
Yeah.
now maybe I'm showing up to learn who I really am. That's a different game.
Right. Right.
But if I've got a pretty good idea of who I am and what I want to do,
yeah,
I got to show up like that, and I got to show up as that every time. It's got to be who I am, 24/7.
Who you are, right?
That's
Because if
right.
we all show up as somebody else, we start to set standards that it's okay to put up a front or
My
or
false
a
front
face.
eats your false front.
Exactly,
Yes,
and then we
exactly.
then we don't have any connection, any real connection.
Right.
Right, and I think in New Thought, the challenge is that we all want to be okay, and we all want to be positive, and we all want to be happy all the time.
Yeah, we spoke about
But we have
spoke
a
about
human-
a lot this
I know
morning
we
in a
did.
very short time.
The shadow self.
Are you guys movie fans at all? I can't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't not
Oh,
share
yeah.
this. Near the end of Blazing Saddles, and the town
It's been a minute.
and the town makes a fake town to lure in the rustlers and the bad guys and to fake them out.
Yeah.
And they build a fake front of one side of town and a
Yeah.
false face on it of the other. And the bad guys ride into town, but it's not the town.
Right.
And then one of them kicks one of them and realizes it's a prop and yells, "Oh, boys, we've been suckered in!" Right?
Right.
But that's what happens. You
Yeah.
put up your false face to hers,
Right.
back and forth, and all of a sudden we've been suckered in. We've been
Yeah.
suckered into not being authentic, to not knowing
Yeah.
who it is that we're in relationship
That's
and
right.
community
That's
with.
right.
And then we open our minds and our hearts to be suckered in by a true con artist
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
coming
and
into a community.
it's
or
very
into a-
isolating. I mean, having lived a fake life or a false life for the most part, for a good part of my life. When you're not seen, it's the loneliest place you can be in. And, we know as in spiritual community that we're better together. So you can't really be together if you're not being yourself and connected.
I want to share a story. A number of years, maybe 2.5 years ago, actually it was before COVID, because we were looking to move into this new space, which all fell apart. But we were doing a collaborative Christmas Eve service with this Christian church. And what happened was, so we went there so that the choir could do some practicing. And the music director, or the piano player, I don't know if he was actually the music director, showed up that day, and he was kind of cranky and, a little grizzly. And I watched the people of his community, and they just said, yeah, sometimes he's like that. But with such love, it wasn't false. And I thought, oh, Michelle, you thought you were all loving and accepting, but I was so judging them.
Right, for being
I was so
cranky
judging, and I watched them. So I learned, and I really learned a lesson that day, that even though I thought I had been doing it, I wasn't doing it enough. And so now, when I have, I have this beloved board member he's late all the time. God bless him. and I'll just look at him now. It's be on time. It's okay. I love you anyway. And because that was the lesson that I got from that. Right.
And that goes circles us back to the conversation on tolerance. Varying degrees, and it's not tolerance that, oh yeah, you're fine, you're here again, I guess I got to put up with it.
Right.
It's the opportunity to grow and to deepen ourselves as really being loving. As being able to go beyond the judgments and look beyond the false facade.
Yeah, putting it into practice, giving space for different ways people show up, whether they're neurodivergent or late or grumpy that day, like giving
whether
space.
They're what was the first
grumpy, one? Neurodivergent, non-neurotypical, people that may have Asperger's.
Crazy.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Autism, yeah.
I'm sure that's not the word.
There you go.
But that's a great word. I just didn't know that term.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and giving
New.
space to how people are showing up and holding them in that container of love.
That's right.
And shortcutting the judgment process.
Well, I gave a talk recently where I played off of that the petty you be you, that you do you, right? Where I played off of the pettiness of you do you to take it deeper to wait, you be you. So if your brain's telling you to say something, then say it. If your brain, now if it becomes a problem in the community, that's not a problem. That's an opportunity for all of us to work together and to learn what neurodivergence is.
Yes.
And to learn how to accept that person in their own experience of it.
Absolutely.
And I would think in New Thoughts communities, we get a lot of practice of this.
Yes,
we
do.
really do
Yes.
have tons of opportunity for whether it's gender issues, whether it's neuro issues, whether it's deep depression, whether it's just the person that sits in the back and likes to cry for the first 6 weeks. We've all been there.
Right.
And we get all these great opportunities to learn how to use this philosophy in those experiences.
Well, and even languaging, because you said neuro issues and you can say expression, neuro expression.
Yeah, I
but
picked up
we're
on
on
that too.
this journey of like catching and going, oh, what was that? Right? Oh, maybe this, so we're all trying on this new way of using language and being inclusive as we do that.
Early in New Thought, I had developed a love of the word hate. Prior in the early, and it became a game of, okay, I want to change that word. I want to change my language. I want to change my behavior. So for those of you out there asking, okay, how do I do that? This is how you do it.
One thought at a time.
And you stop and you make amends and you rephrase in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, that is not what I meant.
Right.
So I might have said neurological issues, but that's not really what I meant. What I want to say and what I meant to say and help me to rephrase it. So thank you for that.
Because neurological differences.
Every time we not correct each other, but educate, give a little nudge, give a little redirection. Hey man, try it this way next time.
Yeah.
And we all learn, we all
Yeah.
become a little deeper, a little more open, a little more in oneness.
I'm a dedicated blogger, and I've been doing this now for a while, once a week or sometimes more. And I recently wrote an article, and it was, I absolutely refuse not to love myself. And that's one of the things that has come out of getting older and not, looking in the mirror and not being overwhelmed with what I see. And then realizing I refuse not to love myself. Refuse.
That kind of resolve.
I refuse. I don't care. I'd like some things to be different, but I refuse to not love myself. And that article got a lot of feedback that people really needed to hear that. And I think that is a New Thought message.
Yeah.
Last night when we had the opening ceremony, were you here last night for the opening part? And the music, and it, I felt so immediately ministered to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, that we have a gift of inviting people into being loved and to allowing themselves to be loved. And that is another one of the beautiful things, and that I believe we have to keep doing. We just have to keep expanding on that.
Yeah.
In every way we can.
And love is a verb, that it's action has got to come from it. Otherwise it's just words.
Yeah.
Say it one more time. I refuse
not to love myself.
I refuse not to love myself.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff, folks.
Yeah, matter of fact, if you would, in Planned Happiness Institute, I know it sounds a little quirky, but it's from my spiritual teacher from a long time ago. And on there, you can sign up for the email list and the blog. And I think you'll enjoy it. My blogs are always focused on metaphysics and growth and, emancipation of the self. So sign up for that if you would, and you'll enjoy the blogs and the courses that come over.
Yes.
Yeah.
And around here, folks, we refuse to not say thank you to our sponsors, our organizational donors, and the viewers like you that make this network happen. Our good producer Diego is going to run a quick thank you video, but we'll be back with just a little bit more final thoughts coming up here on New Thought Today. Stay tuned.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome OM Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a super special thank you to Dr. Tracy Brown, RSCP. Thanks for being a super donor. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And And we're back with more of New Thought Today here on the New Thought Media Network. We've just got a few moments left. Thank you especially to all of our committed givers and organizational sponsors. We love you. We appreciate you. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Let your friends know what we're doing around here. Folks, final thoughts before we wrap it up for today. Mitch, let's start with you.
You know, I just love that we have this conversation and this venue to really kind of peel back the layers of what's going on with New Thought and the dynamic, the synergy of the conversation. So I so appreciate this opportunity to be the new kid on the block. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, you can find me at spirituallyspeakingwithmitch.com. And I'm happy to support people on their spiritual journey. If you have any questions about the transgender process or need some support around that, whatever you need, I'm here to serve and just so grateful to be on the show today.
Beautiful. All right. So whenever I have the spotlight for just even a minute, the messages I want to leave everyone with is love yourself the way you are and the way you're not. Practice forgiveness because your life and your health depend upon it. And question everything. Question what you hear, question your own mind, even question your questioning. And that's the way collectively we'll stay awake and rise up together.
Thank you. And I have to follow that. Reverend Michelle, Dr. Michelle, I think you said it all once again, and I love you for that. Thank you so much for being with us. Mitch, welcome to the family. I'm sitting here today.
You didn't have new family. No.
I got a whole list of things for you, my friend. So, folks watching, thank you for being with us. It's New Thought Today here on the New Thought Media Network. I'm Rev Robert. We're going to get out of here for now. Please tune on back in to all of our regular programming, including tonight's Spanish language programming at 6 o'clock Mountain and our evening prayer program at 8:15 p.m. as well. We love you. We appreciate you. Until next time, we wish you peace and richest blessings.
Love you. Bye.
Bye now.